You know that one person in your fantasy league, the one who's had the wide receiver you want sitting on their bench for weeks, but won't even consider any of the trades you've been proposing? Yeah, that's so last year. This year, there's Trade Assistant with IBM Watson. It uses high-powered AI from IBM to analyze thousands of potential trades in your league and suggest deals that benefit both trading partners. Low-risk trades equal reward. That's a win-win. Trade Assistant with IBM Watson, official sponsors of the Win-Win.
You can never get comfortable in this league. You get your butt whipped.
4-2's never felt so much like 0-6 before.
This one's on me. I need to be better for this team.
There's no need to press the panic button. It's our job as players to produce.
He is the baddest man! He wears you down.
It'll be cool. Get back to the old stomping grounds.
We'll be ready for his best.
You better be ready. It's division opponent.
Just keep believing something great's going to happen.
I just want to win. I don't care how that's done.
No matter what, we don't quit. We stay together and finish games.
Week 7, let's go. Some great ones this week, and you see a lot of them right there. Of course, Steelers and Titans featuring a couple undefeated teams, and let's pick it up right there. Since Ryan Tannehill took over under center, Derrick Henry has rushed for 122 yards per game, 40 yards more than the next closest player in that span, and that's really helped Tannehill. Nearly half of his yards have come via play action. Pittsburgh, of course, will put that to the test with the second lowest completion percentage on such plays. The Steelers will bring offensive firepower of their own as well. They've scored 25 or more points in all 5 games this season, their longest streak to start a season in franchise history. So, who's everybody picking in this one? Well, turns out everybody's picking the same team, which if you're paying attention on this show, when everyone picks the same team, the other team wins. But anyway, you guys are all on the Steelers. And considering that, let's have time for some smart lineup decisions informed by IBM Watson. Marcus, I realize you are picking the Steelers, but let's switch to the Titans. How can the Titans get a win in this one?
It's all about Ryan Tannehill, Els. And listen, I know Derrick Henry is the cachet and people talk about the plays that he's making and the highlights, but Ryan Tannehill has been playing at an elite level up until this point in the season. And against this defense, who's going to try to take the run game away from you, Ryan Tannehill is going to have to show that he can win a Super Bowl with his arm. So I'm looking forward to seeing him perform. Arthur Smith has been doing a tremendous job putting him in great situations, using the pass to affect the run game in a positive way. But this boils down to Ryan Tannehill out-dueling Ben Roethlisberger and making sure that he gets these receivers. A.J. Brown, Jonnu ankle is an issue, but if he's in the lineup. And obviously Humphreys, using these guys and being as prolific as the possibility of being with his guys on the other side. I'm looking forward to seeing him perform against this Steelers defense.
I'm with you, Marcus. I love the Ryan Tannehill story. It's like legitimately inspiring. It shows us all you can still, peak in your 30s. And peaking is exactly what he's doing because he's been playing at an MVP level. We talk a lot about Derrick Henry being the engine of this offense. And I think there's this perception that Ryan Tannehill, he's just a play action quarterback. But when he's not using play action, he has the 4th highest passer rating in the NFL. He is the number 1 passer rating under pressure, which is obviously very important in this game. 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. To me, that's a strength-on-strength matchup here. The Titans offense against the Steelers defense. And we're going to learn very quickly which of those sides is more impacted by the major injuries they suffered last week. Because as good as the Steelers defense has been, they've had some lapses in coverage. Now they don't have Devin Bush, their linebacker. That's going to hurt them there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the football, the Titans lost Taylor Lewan, their left tackle. So we're going to see if that affects the offensive line. And I think whichever one of those injuries is more impactful could decide this game.
It is an interesting game, but you got to look at these two quarterbacks. They kind of mirror each other to a degree. Run the football, play action pass, play strong defense, and don't cause any mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. If Tannehill can do that, kind of mirror Ben, because they're similar. They're very similar. He may be a better runner than Ben right now, but in terms of their style, it's very similar.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is.
Age could have a factor there, too. And don't worry, Ben, I'm not calling you old. Marcus, talk to me about the Titans' defense, a guy who needs to step up on that defense for you, especially against Big Ben and this Pittsburgh offense that has been high-powered.
Yeah, L Boogie. Listen, this is Jadeveon Clowney. This is the game. This is the reason the Tennessee Titans wanted to sign him and got into that bidding war with the New Orleans Saints to get his services and for him to make impact plays in games like this. The Tennessee Titans have Super Bowl on their mind. We know the mentality that Mike Vrabel has, and he feels like Jadeveon not only needs to apply pressure, which he does a good job of, but he needs to get quarterbacks on the ground, make game-changing type plays, and he's trying to do that personally to solidify the contract that he was looking for initially after the year in Seattle. He's a good football player, but you don't get drafted first overall to just be a good football player. You get drafted first overall to have seasons like Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett, and I don't know if Jadeveon Clowney is ever going to be that, but if he can be, and if he shows that he can be, then he'll get whatever asking price he's asking for. But this is a good game to put yourself on display when you're talking about two undefeated teams trying to make a run at winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. We've kind of seen why it took Jadeveon so long to sign with the team, frankly, which is that he's a great football player. He's excellent against the run, but he doesn't bring down the quarterback. And honestly, on this Tennessee defense, outside of Jeffrey Simmons, I don't think anyone's stepped up in the pass rush department. This is one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL. And that's not going to be enough in this game, especially as quickly as Ben gets rid of the ball, because they've regressed in coverage as well. This has not been a very good defense. The offense has carried this team. They're a well-coached team. They've got talented players, but so far this defense has not played to the level they did last year. So, Marcus, I'm looking at Clowney, but I'm looking at Kevin Byard. I'm looking at, Jayon Brown. Across at every level, the defense needs to step up.
Yeah, guys, this is just the 8th matchup in NFL history featuring 5-0 or better teams. It's kind of crazy to think about. The first one since the Packers and Broncos. They were both 6-0, that in 2015. We'll be right back on NFL Live. And coming up, last year's matchup between the Chiefs and Broncos brought snow. Look at that snow. It's crazy. More expected on Sunday. Will that have any effect on this potent Chiefs offense? Find out what Patrick Mahomes thinks about snow. That's coming your way next on NFL Live.